right, welcome back to Off the Tap. This week is episode 72, and we're doing Coors Edge non-alcoholic.
I didn't even look at the name on it because this one is close to home. I've drank a bunch of these in a past, like it's been a while, but this is the Yellow Belly Light, but I guess not even light. The non-yellow belly of Yellow Bellies.
I gotta say that I love the look of it, like the
Oh yeah.
marketing of it that you should say, because the yellow it's the Yellow Belly, right?
It is.
It
It's a
is. It looks like it.
non-alcoholic Yellow Belly.
Yeah.
I
I'm a
was I
little I'm
was
a little
very
excited for it.
it's I mean again, I'll let you make your assumptions about it, but I was very tempted. I don't know why, but as soon as you were doing the welcome back to immediately I wanted like old radio announcer voice. Welcome back to he still has an in-ear set and has not upgraded to regular Bluetooth fucking headphones.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I just thought of that. But
The
anyway,
old radio announcer voice. I'm gonna do it next week. Welcome
dude,
back to Off the
wh-
Tap podcast.
why is that's more audiobook, I think. Like
Mm.
the a super exaggerated, I don't even it's not emphasis on words, it's just like the way that they decided to make breaks within the words.
Yeah, well, that's
Like
AM radio. That's AM radio, though, right
yeah,
there.
but I think it's because the AM radio is the OG. Like in
It
fact, I don't
is.
know. I'm sure there's a like a what do you call it? Like a legitimate reason why they're AM and FM, but they should just I think we all vote kind of like we're doing on time, the time change thing,
Yeah.
supposedly. I don't know where people are signing up to
Wait,
do
wait,
this
wait,
voting,
wait,
but
wait, wait, wait. We're voting on getting rid of the time change.
well, I think that's like like a big thing. Like they're like we should I don't know if it's vote. We always just say vote because we're Americans, but like we should vote on like getting rid of the time change. But like I haven't seen anywhere I can sign up to go cast my ballot,
No, because I would
And
cast
then
my ballot.
I agree. I don't think that the farmers really care anymore. I don't think they ever cared to begin with, to be honest with you.
No.
Um, but and then there's state, like we're way off topic, but there's states like Arizona that have just said fuck it anyway. You know that they
Yeah.
just do their own thing. Is that
Yeah.
not crazy?
They're just like, nah, we're good. I'm
No,
good
we're
on
good.
time
And they're
changing
like,
the
yeah,
time.
but everybody else is now, yeah, it's fine.
That's all right.
So
We're not gonna
sometimes,
do it though.
yeah, trippy.
I still think that the time change thing is solely made by the commercial Christmas light industry to make night darker or make the night hit sooner in Christmas time so that Christmas lights, are more visible for longer.
I think that's a little bit of I mean, it's not a stretch. Like that's a theory I could get behind, but as per usual, we're gonna need to look up what the basis is.
I mean, it had to be farmers, like you were saying, right?
That's
Because
what I
they
think
needed more
originally,
daylight.
but like anecdotally, I saw somewhere that they were like, "You think farmers who get up when it's dark and go to sleep when it's dark really give a shit when it gets dark?" I
No,
was like,
yeah,
"That's a
that's a
good
good point.
point."
It is a very good point. Um, I've always thought time change was stupid. I'm down to stop it because I mean, realistically, what are we doing? We're daylight savings. Nah, in fall it doesn't save daylight at all. It saves it during spring a little bit, but
The
not in
true
fall.
reason why to create a way to save energy and to get more use out of our natural daylight.
Listen, dude, nobody works a regular 9 to 5 today, anyways. Really, what are we doing?
Yeah,
You
and
know,
also like I'm gonna say the bulk. I mean, yeah, you're right. I don't. I don't think I don't think it's gonna conserve that much energy because it's still hot
no,
as shit. At least for us, still hot as
yeah,
shit. So like that's where your energy consumption is. And honestly,
really not, dude.
this just made me think of another point. Do you think that work from home is increasing energy costs?
I don't think so. Because, I mean, when you have your people work from home, they're not going to an office that you have to power.
Yeah, but the thing is that that's the whole issue right now. The footprint's still there for the building. We haven't gotten to a point yet where that's dissolved.
Yeah, but they're not really being used to its full capacity. Like, the air conditioner might be running through it, but, like, the lights aren't being turned on. There's not a lot of computers being used, printers being used, internet being
Th-
used out there. But the air conditioner, yeah, it's probably still running through there.
let's do this. And to use a business work from home slash not work from home terminology, let's put a pin in that one for right
Okay.
now. And let's
Yeah.
let's jump into the beer, but we do need
Yeah.
to revisit that.
I
That
do.
was
I
not
need.
planned, but I do want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah. I need to get in here and taste it. We're 5 minutes
Okay,
in
well,
and I
hold on.
haven't tasted it
Hold
real
on. We
quick.
haven't even. I haven't. Listen, we don't have all the stuff on this yet.
Okay.
I mean, you can go ahead and give her a taste, but you see, she's got a little bit of a yellow belly vibe. In fact, it'd be cool if they put these in the yellow belly ponies. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
That would be cool.
The little small, not pint, but you know what I mean.
It's a non-alcoholic brew, so it's right there at the less than 0.5. What I
Mm.
think's fun, weird about this one, double brewed for a refreshing taste. I'm not quite sure what that even means,
Yeah. I
but
don't know what that means. Are
it is.
they're taking it out and then brewing her again? I don't get it.
I don't know. Let's get into the stats here on this one. Less than 0.5 alcohol per volume, calories 41, carbs 8.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is the I never thought I would say this about a Coors, especially one that mimics a yellow belly. I think this is the lowest calorie and lowest carb that we've seen thus far.
I do believe so. I was going to mention that actually. So I'm glad you
I'm
did.
sorry.
Um, it also says that it's brewed with corn syrup on the website, and it has an asterisk next to it that says corn syrup is used as part of the brewing process only. Coors Edge never uses high fructose corn syrup. So I don't know what all that means, but yeah, I just thought
Well, I think
that was kind of funny.
there's a difference between corn syrup and high fructose corn syrup. So,
Well, yeah, obviously high fructose is more like a sugar.
so out of the gate, I want your thoughts. Because here's the thing. I'm going to make two comments that are going to seem contradictory, but they're not. I don't think it has a super. It does not give me any yellow belly taste,
Yeah,
and I don't think it has a super beery taste. But it's also not super watery. And considering that, like, okay, what's the beer we always make fun of? What's the one that Bud Light has? That's
is it next?
Next. Okay, like you go from a Bud Light to a Next, not even the same world. You're just
No.
like, oh, this is fucking terrible. And as far as non-alcoholic beers go, but again, and you're getting not much less alcohol, but significantly less calories and significantly less carbohydrates. But in this, like you're still getting a drastic reduction in calories and carbs compared to other non-alcoholic beers. But I don't feel like you lose that much taste. Like you lose a good bit, but you don't lose that much.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've had a yellow belly, so
Mm.
my comparison to the yellow belly might not be as on point as it should be for this, but I will say that this is incredibly refreshing.
Oh yeah, but still not super beery. I don't think it satisfies my need for beer, but it doesn't necessarily. But it does leave me hydrated and refreshed.
Yeah, well, it's definitely not what I remember a yellow belly being in my, you know,
Yeah.
in my vague remembrance of it, but it's good. I mean, I like it, you know. We'll obviously get into the ratings and stuff later, but I like it. It's better than the Guinness that we did
Yeah, but I
last
mean,
week.
not a lot of not a lot of room. You know, when there people are like, not a lot of room for growth. There was very little growth. I mean, very little opportunity to be under the performance of that beverage.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if it weren't for the
Yeah.
color, I'm pretty sure almost would have flatlined.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we would have been in single digits.
Yeah,
Yeah, it would have been
it's
pretty
only
bad.
its only redeeming quality was the widget and its color. But
Yeah.
um, how do you feel about Coors products outside of this? Let's talk about that first.
Well, so I mean, obviously, you know, growing up, you go to college or whatnot, you're going to your parties and stuff. Yeah, everybody's got Keystone, right? Which is a Coors product, you know. That's the beer pong beer, and I'll forever love it for that. Um,
Yeah.
it's not a great beer, but it's a good party beer. You know, I kind of feel the same way about Coors in general, Coors Light. Um, you know, not a bad beer by any means, but definitely could be better, you know, and for my taste at least. The Yellow Bellies are a good beer. I enjoy the Yellow Bellies. And then I really don't know what else Coors does outside of those things.
I think that's pretty much it. They got I mean, they got Keystone and all of its iterations, right?
Yeah.
Keystone, Keystone Ice,
I
Keystone
mean,
Light.
there's going to be nothing like those commercials either, right? Those might have been, aside from the Real Man of Genius Bud Light commercials on radio. I think the Keith Stone commercials of the early 2010s were probably top notch beer commercials.
1,000% marketing was on point, but also too, what we forget because it was of way before our time was like, and it's still uses it a little bit as a marketing thing, but it was the most smuggled beer in the U.S. at one point in time.
Coors,
Yes, because it was
really?
only of yeah. You've never seen Smokey and the Bandit?
They were moving Coors during that?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that. Was it the Yellow Bellies? It was the Yellow Bellies, wasn't
I'm
it?
pretty sure it was Coors or it was some type of beer.
I knew it
Um,
was beer, but I didn't realize it was Coors.
I mean, I don't. I mean, I'm gonna double check, but I'm pretty sure. Um, all right, let's just do a little check here on that. But yeah, so that's a true story. I don't know if Smokey and the Bandit is, but like, um, yeah, it is Coors. So they
Banquet
offer
beer.
the banquet beer. Thank you, Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott.
But yeah, so they use that as a claim to fame because that's a real. I mean, I don't know if it was a real thing that happened, but people were doing it, and then obviously Smokey and the Bandit made it famous. Yeah, they offer him $80,000 to haul 400 cases of Coors from Texarkana, the closest place it could legally be sold at that time, to Atlanta in 28 hours. Hence the we've got a long way to go and a short time to get there.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
that's insane.
yeah.
Great movie. If anyone listening has never seen that, I mean, it's an older movie, so it's gonna have its, maybe not great graphically or whatever, but incredible funny movie.
Yeah, again, there's your first piece of homework for the week. Check out Smokey and the Bandit because it did probably put Coors on the map.
And
It's
they made a
19
second one.
I think there's 3 of them
I
actually.
think you're right. There actually is three of them.
But I don't necessarily know what the other ones are about. Smokey and the Bandit 2, Smokey and the Bandit
I
Part
think they're all the
3.
same thing. I'm pretty
I
sure.
mean, give
I
or
mean, they're
take, but
smuggling stuff. Um, who was the truck driver in the first one? I don't know if he's in the other ones, but
Jerry Reed,
Jerry Reed, that's his name. The old
I, yet again,
uh
eastbound and down, load it up and truck it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he has that, what's that famous one that he had, the swamp.
Amos Moses.
Yeah, Amos Moses. Yeah. Just
He
knock him on the
also
head with a
has
stomp.
the Louisiana Law gonna get you, Amos. I also love the fact that he has she got the gold mine, I got the shaft. Dude, just everything that he did was just him
Yeah.
having fun. Also, one more last thing, homework. Check out how that fool played guitar because he played the ever living shit out of one. But
Yeah, he did.
um, anyways, so Coors known for being so coveted in its flavor, that Rocky Mountain water, right, that makes the difference. That it was smuggled all throughout. I'm not quite sure that you could pay anyone, even in today's terms, $80,000 to truck 400 cases of this across the way. You think maybe?
I think there's a large group of people that would do it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just saying maybe there's not people that exist that would want this so badly that they would be willing to pay someone eighty
Mm,
thousand dollars
yeah,
to
maybe
bring it
not.
across.
Maybe not.
But a great beer nonetheless. So I don't know. It's not exactly a replica since as we've been going along the way, we've been comparing it to its alcoholic counterpart. I don't
Mm,
think these are even in the same ballpark,
mm,
but it's refreshing and it's delicious. That's why I said that I've had a bunch of them over the years. I don't think that
yeah.
it's top notch. I wonder when it came out. I mean, I would say it's only been out for maybe a couple of years. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, the Guinness had been out for a while, and we didn't know that. So I
Uh,
obviously
It had only been out since 21 though.
Well, yeah, no, I thought it was like a new thing though, like this year. But
No.
yeah, a while being only a couple years, I guess. But again, though, I never really looked into non-alcoholics before this month, and so
Oh
I
yeah.
never really looked, at the different options and whatnot, and the different companies that make them and stuff. So I didn't even know Coors had one either.
It came out in November of 2019.
Man,
Yeah.
everybody really getting on the train.
I think it's because I think it's just because there's been a massive movement towards having a non-alcoholic offering, right? I
Yeah,
mean, the liquors are doing it. I think we've talked a little bit about this already, but like those mocktails are huge, dude. It's basically
yeah,
mixers. Okay,
yeah.
non-alcoholic beer makes sense to me because it beer has a certain consistency to it. It's refreshing. It has a certain taste that you crave. If you're gonna give me a non-alcoholic, I just don't think I'm gonna drink a non-alcoholic old fashioned.
Yeah, no,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah. I mean, I like an
And
old fashioned, but not the same way that I like beer. You know what I mean? Like an
I
old
agree.
fashioned, trying to sip to get a buzz.
Yes,
You know,
or
like
like a
beer, I don't
non-alc.
necessarily need the buzz so much.
I can't think of a certain mixed drink that like I love the taste of so much that I want it to be non-alcoholic. And then, I think you might have made the argument before, but like
Oh,
a non-alcoholic daiquiri is a smoothie. That's what that is. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Well, like a slushy.
Slushy, there you go.
Yeah,
A non-alcoholic pina colada, that's just a 7-Eleven coconut slush.
it's just an
You know what I
icy.
mean?
That's just an icy.
Exactly.
That's all it is. I mean, I'm not hating you for it, but
No.
we don't have to dress it up for what it's not.
Call a spade a spade, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Exactly. Let's not get out of hand here.
In the world of phenomenal segues, speaking of spades, when do you think is too early to start purchasing decorations? We're right here on the cusp of October. I think mañana, right? Or
Well,
maybe Monday.
when this episode releases, it will be October 1st. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
exactly. We're right
yeah.
there on the cusp. So there's a lot of folks. I'm not included. I'll let you spill the beans on your personal preferences. But when is it okay to start purchasing stuff for Halloween? Anything. We're talking decorations, candies, whatever you're going to dress up in.
Mm.
Halloween shit. When is it? When is too early?
So here's the thing. I kind of separate candies from the rest of it personally, because if you're buying it for the sole purpose of Halloween, then you shouldn't be buying the candy until like 2 weeks before Halloween, right? Let's keep it somewhat fresh, okay? But
Yeah.
when they start putting out Halloween candy in the stores, you got to hop on that because you can get so many goodies, bro. And you can get them, you can get the mixed bags for so cheap, and you get some good candy all mixed up, man. I mean, if you're a candy person, at least, I
You
feel
know what I
like you
think?
you can purchase the candy before you purchase anything else.
I'm gonna let you continue on the rest of the things, but one thing I have to point out that I think is so funny is that in this scenario, before Halloween, you're going, uh, be sure to purchase your candy so that it's as fresh as possible and it's consumed fresh as possible to the date. Whereas after the holiday, people will eat that shit until the next fucking
Oh
September.
yeah,
They'll be like, "Oh, dude, it's Halloween candy," and I'm like, "Isn't it July?" And they're like,
yeah,
"Yeah, that's not bad,
yeah. I mean,
right?"
it says good until August of this year. So
So yeah, it's just funny. You're like, it needs to be as fresh as possible, and maybe it's only lasting until the August of the next year because we wait until the last moment
yeah,
come September.
there's nothing more worse than stale dots too. You know what I mean?
Well, dots in general, I would say, but when they're
Well, yeah,
stale, even
yeah,
worse.
yeah, yeah. But when they're stale, they're bad, right?
So my question, okay. So you're saying the store. There's two scenarios here. You're saying the store is going to dictate when you buy your candy based on when it's put out.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, the store is going to dictate when you buy any of it when they're putting it out because the population goes crazy for holidays.
Yeah.
But yeah, when they're putting, I mean, they were putting Halloween candy out like at the beginning of August, dude. And I'm like, there's just no way people are bulking up with this stuff for actual Halloween. Like, if you're going in to buy it, you're buying it to consume it. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
and so there's a lot of fall sports too. Maybe you're buying it to consume it, but buying it maybe to take to your kids' games or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know. Although candy's probably not a good thing to take to a game, but
Yeah, I just don't see myself. Man, there's an article that I'm going to put in our backup topics that we need to talk about that it just sparked, but I'm going to put that one on the list. So candy, when it's available in store, it's the cream of the crop, but as close to the holiday as possible. So is
yeah.
now too early? Should we wait 2 weeks? Should we, or what is it?
I think if you're buying it for Halloween, you need to be 2 weeks out. So I'd say about halfway through October. Let's
Okay.
not be handing out stale candy, guys.
Um, I'm the person that always forgets. Like, also, too, I've never had a really good turnout at any of the houses that we've lived in, and we live in like normal neighborhoods. So, like, I always forget until like the day of or the day before, and I'm like, shit,
And
I
you're
need to
getting
run.
all the leftovers.
Yeah, you're getting the shit that people probably don't necessarily want, and so I go out and get that, and then what really destroys me is it sits in my bowl, and then I'm like that kid that missed the train, you know? I'm practically begging for somebody to come and take the candy. And so when we do get one trick or treated, you just offload on them, you know?
Yeah.
You
They
you
just
look
get
at
the
the
whole
clock.
thing.
You look at the clock, you're like, it's 9 o'clock. I planned on doing this until 9:15.
Yeah.
And I've had one trick or treater. I'm gonna gamble that in the next 15 minutes the horde doesn't come. And so you just dump half a bag of shitty candy in his sack because you were unprepared and
Yeah.
got what was left on the shelf.
So that actually legitimately happened to me one year because we kind of live out in the sticks out here a little bit, like not in the neighborhood. So in my 26, almost 27 years of living at this house, we have had one family of trick or treaters come one year. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think I was about like 13, 12 or 13. I was just chilling in the living room. I heard a knock on the door and I was like, what in the hell? I was like, who is here right now? And so I went and opened the door and it was these four kids and they were like trick or treat. And I was like, oh my God. And so, we have a massive bowl of candy because my dad is a candy fiend. He just
Yeah.
goes through it like crazy. So he always stocks up. But this massive bowl and I just grabbed it. Has handles on the side, okay? We're talking about a tub. This is like a wash tub, honestly. I take it.
Reinforced
I
steel cable
yeah.
handles.
I take it out the front door, and they grabbed one thing each, and I was like, "Oh no, no, y'all can stock up. No one else is coming." And so
And
they legitimately took like half of the giant bowl of candy, and I was like, "Y'all have a great night now."
yet again, a couple of comments to be made. Number one, the candy, regardless of when it was purchased, is never going to go bad in your household because it's just
No.
constantly being replenished.
Yeah.
Number two, you probably needed them to stock up because what other fucking houses were they going to hit between yours and theirs that people were
None.
going to be like,
None.
oh, it's trick or treaters?
Yeah, that their parents were like, "Yeah, I guess we can go trick or treating." And then they
They
showed up at
literally,
our
that was the
house
first
first,
house.
and they hit us first, and they were like, "Oh, God bless those people. Now we can just go home."
Oh, I thought, dude, I thought of it the other way around. I thought of it like when your kids like bug you to buy an animal, and so you buy a fish because you're like, ah, it'll be dead in a couple of weeks, and I'll be done with this. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, that's what you're
But then it
saying.
lives forever. They probably did the same thing. They were like, I'm telling you, we'll take you trick or treat, but the first house we go to, if nobody's handing out candy, then we're coming back to the house. They
Yeah.
showed up at your house. They got a 5 gallon bucket, and they were like, so we've got to hit everyone on the street now.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't think about it that way. See, I was 12. I wasn't a parent, so I didn't have that thought,
Ah,
you know.
no, I would have
Um,
banked on like, nah, they're never there. They're never gonna answer the door. They're never gonna have any candy. And then if they walked
yeah.
out, I would have been like, son of a bitch.
Yeah. Um, Going back,
Oh yeah, so
costumes.
non-candy related. There you go. Yes,
Yeah,
get us
so
back on track
let's
here.
get on costumes here. Costumes is a weird one because there's a lot of people that like make their own costume, right, or
Yeah.
kind of do their own thing. And I think you should pretty much start doing that as early as you figure out what you want to be, just so you make sure you get it done. Um, I think if you're going to buy your costume, if you know what you want to be, you need to go as soon as Spirit Halloween opens up in that random shop that's been closed down for the last 5 years that's near you.
Yeah.
As soon as that thing pops up, you got to go in and start looking for what you need or you want, because it is going to dwindle very quickly. So I would say, what those things probably start popping up halfway through September, if not a little
Eh,
earlier.
I don't know. I mean, around us, they've kind of, which is a good thing, I guess. They've kind of filled a lot of our, are like vacant, continually vacant, random, usual suspects
Yeah.
that they jump into. They've kind of filled them up with actual stores. So I
Mm.
haven't seen our local one yet. I haven't seen one of those shittily hung banners strapped to something at this point
Yeah.
yet.
No, I haven't seen one either, and I feel like usually they're maybe at least starting to get put up, like a week before from now, right? Like
Oh yeah,
last
I would
week.
guarantee. I mean, I would say on average they're up like 2 weeks before the start of October. So they're out
Yeah.
there. They're just laying low around us, apparently.
Also, fun thought that I didn't find out until last year: Spirit Halloween is owned by Hot Topic, which checks out because they have
Yeah,
pretty much the same exact things in them.
that is true. They just put them
Yeah.
in slightly different packaging, charge a little more
Or
for them, and
sorry,
judge the people that use it differently.
maybe it's Spencer's that owns them, but either way, same stores.
Yeah, same thing.
Um, just thought that was interesting though. But yeah, I think as soon as you start seeing the Spirit Halloweens open up, go in and get what you need. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But decorations now. I
Yeah,
have
let's
a
get
I
into
have a
this.
I have a pretty strong one on decorations because I myself am a huge Halloween guy. And I think I've said this on the multiple October episodes that we've done on this podcast, which is probably like 7 or 8 episodes. I'm a huge Halloween guy, and so I love decorations, but I hate when they get put up too early. And there's been houses near us for the past 2 weeks that have had Halloween decorations out already, and I'm like, you're ruining it, man. It's too early.
So, okay, so what's the threshold? Like you're saying 2 weeks as of today, prior to today, is too early.
Yeah, I think
So
I
when's the
think at
threshold?
at the minimum you have to wait until October. You have to wait until
First.
October 1st.
Okay.
You can put them up October 1st. You can go buy them. I think October 1st. I don't think you should buy them before then either.
But I
Uh,
mean, dude, there's people around us that have like I don't remember. I remember Halloween decorations way back in the day being something that you're right. You bought them on October the 1st, whenever you bought them. You bought them
yeah,
October 1st and you put them up October 1st. And then on November 1st, you just took them all down and threw them away.
yeah.
But decorating has become such a massive thing that like people have reoccurring like themes and shit.
Oh yeah.
So like they already own a lot of them. They're not necessarily purchasing them. They're just unstocking them and setting them up.
Oh yeah. Well, regardless, I don't think you should buy them nor get them out and set them up until October 1st.
Gotcha.
Um, I just think it's a little. It's kind of like doing. It's like setting up your Christmas lights 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? It's the same thing to me.
But most people do that though.
Well, some people do, yeah, but I just to me it's like all right, October's here, it's Halloween time. You know what I mean? Like let's make it as a country, we need to make it that way where it's like we're excited that October's here now. You know what I mean?
So we
October
should
1st, let's go out and get it all and come back and set it up like a family and whatnot. You know what I mean?
so we should stop focusing on voting on changing the time
No,
and
we
we
should
should
also do
focus
that.
on okay, but I mean if you only had to pick one, enforcing laws around setting up Halloween early would be your choice.
Yeah, I've lived my life, with time change. I think that's fine.
Listen, we
I,
all
I,
love the fall back. We love the falling back.
yeah, it's the
We love
springing
it.
forward that
It's
sucks.
bringing forward the shit. You know what I mean? If we could
That one's
work that
bad.
out, maybe we just,
Maybe
oh
we
man,
just
maybe
keep
we,
falling back.
yeah, and then things get real shoddy for a while. Can you
It'd be like
imagine just
Alaska for a few years.
yeah, children that just grew up in that era are like, why is it
What?
daytime all the time
Yeah.
now? Or
Yeah.
whatever. Um, but okay, so October 1st, you can get on the decoration train.
Yeah.
That's very fitting. I agree. I think as long as we're in October, we're fine. I was just gonna say it made me think of it today because the neighbor across the street does a massive Halloween
Yeah.
setup, and
Hmm.
he has like just crates and crates that he brings down and assembles. I mean, he's got multiple like 25-foot like not blow ups, but like
Like,
25-foot creatures
yeah.
that move and have animatronics and shit like that, and he has to get them built and
Listen,
assembled.
I remember your neighbor last year, he would like sporadically add more to it
Yes, it's
and I think that is awesome.
So he's starting out right now, and I mean he's obviously because it's such an undertaking. He kind of is allowed the 1 day jump or 2 day
Yeah,
jump.
I mean, this weekend's weird, right? Because like a lot of people have other plans for Sundays, and Sunday is October 1st this year. So today I'd let it slide. You know what I mean? One day is okay.
Yeah, so he'll kind of bring it out in chunks, and I don't know if it's just because there's so much volume and he's got other things going on, but I kind of like the way that
Yeah.
it almost tells a story over time.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
you'll have there was a bunch of flying, they were like witch skeletons, which was pretty cool, but they were attacking this larger pumpkin man. But then there were like reinforcements that came in later, and then there were a bunch of like skeleton parts that were coming out of the ground that later assembled themselves into some sort of like I'm
Like
gonna
a
call it like a
like a cult.
transformer. Actually,
Oh yeah,
they
no.
you remember how way back in the OG Power Rangers they would all come together to create that little
Mm.
robot thing?
Yeah.
That's kind of what they did. And then they took on this pumpkin guy, and then at the end the pumpkin guy maybe windblown by accident, but he just played it up like it was down and they had won. So
Yeah.
it's pretty
See,
nifty.
that's really cool. And that's why you start at the beginning of October and you work your way through it. I also think that there's a limit to when you can start putting them up or when, how long you should wait, right? And we should not wait until 1 week before Halloween. It should be before
Yeah,
then. I mean,
you got
at
to
that point you're hurting yourself because you're going to have them up for a week and then you got to take them down.
You got to make it worthwhile. How quickly afterwards do you think you need to take them down?
I think you can get a couple days. We're
Okay,
talking Halloween 31st. Let's roll to like no. Well, it depends also when Halloween falls. If it falls like on a Wednesday or whatever, then just wait till
you can
Saturday and
wait
take
till.
them down.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Um. But maybe if Halloween falls on like a Friday or a Saturday, then yeah, you should probably take them down that weekend. Not let them go a
Okay.
whole week. You know what I mean?
The rule is you can't start regardless of day until um
October 1st.
October 1st, and they have to be down the weekend after Halloween, including if
Yeah.
Halloween falls on a weekend.
Yeah. I would say that's a pretty classy way to handle the decorations and Halloween season.
So brings me to my next point. Um, I feel like I'm not gonna say offended, but like we have all these holidays that we separate time for. I don't think we get a separate fall from Halloween and Thanksgiving. I feel like I get and a lot of people
Mm,
make the argument like, "Oh, Thanksgiving themed things is fall." No, dude. I want the cheesy fucking leaves that are changing colors and
yeah.
warm coffee in
Well,
mugs
to be
with
fair,
like
we
orange
don't
on them.
really get the leave changes in Texas really anyways.
Yeah,
They
I know,
just all fall off.
but that's my support for the cause. Like
Yeah.
because we're having to artificially create that feeling in that environment, I want the decorations to be fitting. Give me some burlap on a hay bale in a field
Yeah.
that we're taking pictures on or some shit like that, right? All the cheesy bullshit that you see in like Gilmore Girls during the fucking fall or
Yeah.
like on a train ride into the city of Boston, whatever that shit is. I want that to be separated from scary
Mm,
Halloween decorations and turkeys on everything. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
I agree. I was going to say before you went into that like that time from November 1st until like November 20th is like that time. But you're right. Because people just immediately go Thanksgiving. They got turkeys up and stuff, but you never get just like, just
Yeah.
like the gourds and like pumpkins, not like jack-o'-lanterns, but
Yeah.
you know,
We
pumpkins
go
and
from
stuff.
carving
It's just
faces into them to putting them in pies. There's no in
so
between.
we go straight from carving pumpkins to carving turkeys. That's what we do immediately.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah.
like I also I'm not a huge Halloween fan. I'm not anti, I'm just not the massive Halloween fan. And I love Thanksgiving the day of, but I like that season in between that we
Man,
don't get enough exposure.
I do love Thanksgiving, but the lead up is so stressful.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
when you're like everyone's planning what to bring and planning where you're gonna do it and stuff. I mean, a lot of people I guess traditionally do they're every year things, but it seems like every year for us, the past like 5 years, it's always changed, and we never really hash it out until like 5 days before Thanksgiving.
That can be stressful, and the only thing that would relieve a little bit of that stress is if I had normal fall decorations in my house while I
Yeah,
was making those
yeah,
decisions. Now,
that's true. If I had a pumpkin to look at while I was baking that pumpkin pie, you
it's
know,
I I think it's just because everybody fusses about Thanksgiving getting overshadowed by Christmas because I can guarantee you, like November
oh,
1st,
we'll get into that.
Christmas shit's gonna be everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we'll get we'll
we'll
get into
wait that
that
one out.
here too. Yeah,
But I think the fall season outside of Thanksgiving and Halloween is not getting enough. I can't get no respect.
it does.
You
I
know,
mean, I can't get no respect.
can't get no respect.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is kind of sad because I do love fall. I think, for the majority of my life growing up, summer was always my favorite, obviously because I was out of school. You're outside hanging out and everything. And then the past few years, spring had become my favorite time of year because it wasn't 9 billion degrees outside and I could actually sit outside and enjoy myself. But now it's becoming fall because
Yeah.
I can actually sit outside and enjoy myself without sweating or overheating, you know what I mean?
I
Or
just like
dehydrating.
it's gonna be a weird like I like that Thanksgiving, and actually Thanksgiving's still a little warm, okay?
For us,
Right?
yeah, unfortunately.
For us. But I would say like that first, like right at Thanksgiving, if there happens to be a cool front or shortly thereafter, there's a couple of days where in jeans, the wind it doesn't cut through them, but it cools the surface of the jean and the surface of
Yeah.
the leg.
It's brisk.
That is it is. It's
Yeah.
just enough to wear because it's usually
Yeah.
scorching hot anytime we're wearing pants, okay? And like in the springtime it's gonna be warm. You're still gonna know you got pants on. Same in the summer. You fucking definitely know it's
Well, summer
miserable.
you should not wear pants here. You're
I
stupid if you
agree.
wear pants.
But there's a couple of weeks, usually late November, beginning of December, where you can wear pants and can't tell. But you don't necessarily need to. I don't. I'm trying to explain it. Like if it's January or February, you need to have pants on your ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But in November and December, it's like, am I wearing pants? Because it's cool enough to not have to. I am, but I don't have to. And that's what makes me think of sometimes we've gotten lucky around Halloween and gotten it. But Halloween, the past, I don't know, as far as I can remember back, let's say 10 years,
It's
12
just
years,
sweaty and hot and miserable.
sweaty, sticky, post
And you're
rain,
you're in that horrible costume uh polyester, you know?
100% nylon,
Yeah,
whatever.
just
Yeah.
it's just itchy and stuck to you because it's 90 degrees and you're wearing an all black polyester freaking.
And I think that stuff is built out of whatever starts itching as soon as it gets wet. You notice that?
Yes.
Like you can have it on
Yes.
all day at school or whatever, and like, yeah, it'll be all right. As soon as it gets
As
slightly humid, it
soon
just
as you get
starts
on the bus
itching like
ride
crazy.
home and start sweating, you
Just
start
sticks
getting
to
that
the
swamp
seat.
butt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's horrible. Um,
It turns into wet sandpaper, is what it turns into.
yeah. Like I remember when I was like a kid, right? Like 6, 7. I remember it actually being brisk on Halloween night. You know what I mean? And you're actually having to like wear a jacket over your
Nylon.
costume for a little bit. Yeah, because the thinness of the material of the costume is just not enough to, break the
Yeah.
wind that was hitting
It's
you.
it's mind blowing to me how they can be. They're just the most inefficient clothing because at
Yeah.
nighttime when it's slightly brisk, fucking freezing in that
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But during the day, when it's just average temperature, you're a billion degrees. I don't know where
Yeah.
that would be desirable as a fabric, but that is very true.
Also, feel like I should throw this in just because it's a little bit of an embarrassing story for me.
Yeah,
But
go ahead.
I
Send it. I'm not gonna stop you.
I I dressed up as Scream one year when I was like 7 or 8 years old. Scared myself in the mirror.
Okay.
Yeah. I went to go to the bathroom and I had the mask on still. And I opened the bathroom door and my face was in the mirror and it scared the hell out of me.
Did it deter you not to wear the mask the rest of the time?
Yeah, I think I did take it off for the rest of the night.
Good lord.
Yeah, dude, I was like
First
8,
off,
man.
I don't. I guess why was an 8-year-old being what is that character's name? Ghostface?
Ghostface. Yeah.
Yeah. Why was an 8-year-old being
Well,
7 8-year-old being ghost?
maybe a little bit of a parental, mishap.
Maybe an oversight, slightly, a little bit.
Maybe an oversight letting me watch Scream when I was that young, but I really liked the
Yeah.
movie, so I think
Okay.
actually the first time I saw it was on Scary Movie, right? The spoof.
Yet again, definitely not a
Well,
film
no, but
that would have been
I didn't
appropriate.
watch the whole thing. I like walked in for
Okay.
a scene and he was on it and I think it was like the what's up scene, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I thought it was funny because of the way they were saying it. Obviously I didn't know they were high, right? I was
Yeah.
7 or 8 or whatever. And so I thought it was funny and then I did watch the Scream movie, but that's probably a
I,
parental mishap, but
no, I'm gonna
we'll
say in the
slide right over
grand
that
scheme.
one.
I'm gonna say in the grand scheme of things, I know that you didn't watch the full scary movie, but like I would probably let my kids venture down the Scream
Before the
avenue
Scary
before
Movie
I
one.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
A lot less content to explain.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's just a funny little tidbit about my horrific experience being Ghostface and scaring myself.
You ghost faced yourself.
I did. I did.
I
And
didn't
it,
ever find that costume all that scary. The concept of it was great, but like to me, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just
it's not. That's what makes it funnier. Is it's not even like a scary mask. It's just like a normal Halloween mask, like just stupid
what else?
Halloween mask.
What else I think is crazy is like that mask is super iconic now.
Yeah.
But did it even exist before that?
So I've wondered that same thing
I
because
think it was like invented for the movie.
in the movie they don't make the mask, they go and buy it from a Halloween store.
Do they? Do they even tell you that?
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure because then everybody starts buying them like the day later after the killing happens. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
they're not just gonna
I'm
mass
gonna need to go back.
produce. They're not gonna just mass produce that mask overnight without
Listen,
But
America's always trying to make a buck. You know.
but you know what else is pretty interesting about that? Now that you bring that up, is like you know, in the Halloween movies, like Halloween stores weren't selling a Michael Myers mask.
Yeah, but was that a mask?
Yeah, it's a mask.
Okay,
Like
okay.
he had it, but then like nobody else it's Haddonfield, right? Nobody else in Haddonfield was like dressing up as Michael Myers for Halloween. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think it's because
You
I
think
don't know,
they
man. It was
outlawed it?
well, it was the '70s, and that just wasn't a thing. America wasn't like, oh, there's a serial killer, we should dress up like him. That was a '90s and later thing.
That's
um,
fair. That's fair.
but yeah, I guess I never put the two and two together. But I think about that a lot. Like, I've never seen that mask in my life before that movie. But you're right. If kids, if teenage, whatever, were they in high school in that movie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if even though they were all obviously in their early 30s. But
Yeah.
teenage
Yeah.
kids, are they going out and getting yeah, teenage kids were going out and getting the mask afterwards. So it must have been, at least for the sake of the movie, a mass produced mask.
Yeah, so I don't know if it was in real life or not. It's an interesting thing to try to figure out. I don't even know how you would figure that out. Like, was that even a question you could ask Google?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm sure. Listen, Google has yet to, like, as of late, it's batting. Like, I will tell you this, it's so accurate that if I type something in, actually, this is a great story. I was actually going to include this. So earlier today, we had the kids, or I had the kids in here, and I was just like trying to say things that they could repeat that they would just leave me alone with, and they took one and ran with it. So it was, have you ever watched Dexter's Laboratory?
yeah.
Did we talk
DD,
about this
get out of
before?
my laboratory.
Okay, did we talk about this?
I don't know.
So I was saying, Dee, get off of my boots. And so I kept saying that over and over and over. And so I was like, all right, I'll show you guys. And I tried to Google it, and Google was like, no, Dee, get out of my laboratory. And I was like, no, come on. He definitely said, get off of my boots. Does not exist. The clip does not exist. Like
Nah, dude,
maybe man,
this is
not
that Mandela
Mandela
effect.
effect, but yeah, it is like Mandela effect. But something similar, and so I could not find it online, and I had to um like just pretend that I had made it up or whatever. So anyways, it's very, very trippy. In that
Yeah.
situation, I knew that it did not exist because Google was like, I can't find it. I'm trying for you, bud. I really am trying for you, but I can't find it.
I feel like
You know what
I've
I mean?
heard that too, though, from Dexter's Laboratory.
DD,
Get
get
off
off of
my
my
boo.
boots.
Yeah.
Um, it was
Um,
obviously the writers were making a play off the get out of my laboratory. But yeah,
yeah.
let me see if I can go down that rabbit hole with Google real quick.
Well, here, so I looked it up, at least I tried to. It said that the mask did exist before Scream was made, but it was slightly changed for the film. So it wasn't the exact same mask, but it was like more of like a ghoulish looking like actual like ghost fit, like something you would see in like Scooby Doo that like one of the killers, but like the scary people would wear. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It was more of like like jaggedy line mouth and stuff like that. Um,
I see.
yeah.
So the other thing that's crazy is that like now that you say this, the first I don't know if it was the first Halloween, but like on a Halloween immediately following the release of Scream,
Hmm.
every person that I knew was that character.
Was Ghostface?
Yes, like it wasn't even
No.
like was not even remotely like you would go. I bet you that year if you went to a stereotypical American neighborhood and watched trick or treating, there was zero creativity to who was knocking on your door. It was going to
Yeah.
be like 15 ghost face and one dude dressed as a pumpkin. Like that's all the fuck that was knocking
Because
on
that
doors then.
because that guy didn't see Scream yet.
Yeah, and he was just like, I thought we were doing pumpkins, guys. What the hell?
Yeah, dude. Last second, bro. You didn't see Scream yet? Uh, I mean that
Yeah,
happens
dude.
every year with every movie that comes out, though. Like everybody this year is going to be Barbie and Ken.
Yeah, I guess you're
Every
right.
single couple is going to do Barbie and Ken. That's what they're going to do.
I don't know, dude. There's a massive resurgence of what?
And then you're going to have that one single dude that shows up as Oppenheimer.
um, it's so funny to me that those are paired together just because of release date.
Yeah.
But no, there's a huge man, dude. The Mario's taken over again with the youths.
Oh yeah.
Dude, every
The
single
Utes.
kid in the youths, they now what's really confusing to me is there's like new characters. It's kind of like Pokemon. Not quite as crazy, but it's kind of like Pokemon. I get into an elementary school class. I'm talking to some of Finley's people that go to Finley school, and they're trying to throw down their Pokemon No, and I'm like, come on, dude, send it. I know the original, and they're not even fighting with the same level of Pokemons anymore. Same
No.
thing with Super Mario. I'm reading a book the other day, and there's like all of these characters that are like a bunch of different princesses, and I'm like, no, 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 it's just Peach. But no, dude,
You
there's
got
like,
Daisy too.
yeah, and Rosalina or some
Oh yeah,
shit like that.
Rosalina. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a whole different ball game, dude. Like, what happened?
I don't even know where Rosalina's from,
Yeah, apparently she's very mysterious. That's like her thing.
but I know she's in Mario Kart.
Yeah, but like I just feel like they're kind of creating a little too much world. We talked off pod about my thoughts on the new TMNT. Um, but I don't know. I just kind of feel I'm glad that Mario's coming back and there's like a super amount of support for the original characters, but them throwing in the new ones kind of weird me out a little bit.
That's just what happens, man. They got to
Yeah.
do it eventually, I guess. My thing is that I really want Nintendo to go back and really, really give me Diddy Kong Racing. That's what I want the most.
Yeah,
I
dude.
need
What?
another Diddy
Why?
Kong.
Why did they've just abandoned? Well, you know why? It's because that was not like they they incorporated all of those aspects into Mario Kart.
Yeah, but dude, I just Diddy Kong Racing. I just need to hear
Yeah.
it.
And also didn't Diddy Kong Racing, it had like challenges in it.
I
It was
think
like a
so.
blend. Yeah, dude, it was like a blend of
I also think that the courses were better in it, personally. Like
dude, it's been
you had like the Rainbow Road, right? The iconic Rainbow Road in Mario Kart, and what was the Booze Castle? I think was the other pretty
Yeah,
iconic one. But like Diddy Kong Racing, dude. I can't now listen. I'm gonna be kind of contradicting myself because I can't remember the names of these courses. But there
yeah, I
was
agree.
the dinosaur one where you had to go and collect eggs.
Yes. Okay. So
You know
that's
what
what
I
I'm saying.
mean?
Like, it was like they took Mario Kart and they took Super Mario, Super Mario 64, and they blended them together. Like, yeah, you would have to fly and find these fucking dinosaur eggs or like balloons
Yeah,
sometimes or randomly, or you'd have to fly through certain hoops in
yeah,
the right order or some shit. I don't remember all of it, but
yeah.
I do remember it being like you're racing, but and also there was like I can't remember exactly, but like it was like an open world where you could like go to different levels like you could on Mario 64, right?
I don't remember that part of Diddy
Yeah, there
Kong
were because it
Racing.
was well what I mean is like you think about
It,
Super Mario Kart, like you were only on the course. But
yeah,
in Diddy Kong Racing, you would have to like drive
to the
to get to a
courses.
level. Yeah.
Yes,
And
you're
you would
right.
talk to people along the way and you could get like not power-ups,
I'm
but
pretty
kind of like
sure you're right.
power-up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, dude.
It does sound familiar.
I have not played it. I don't know where my copy is. My system is working.
I'm
I
jealous.
actually I got down on some Mario Kart the other day, but I don't know where my copy of Diddy Kong Racing is, and so maybe it's time to scour the globe, scoop one of those bad boys
There's
up.
got to be
But you're
one in a
right.
resale shop somewhere.
We need that to come back.
We do. Nintendo, if you're listening, I know you're not, but if you are, let's bring back Diddy Kong Racing in place
Diddy
of
Kong Racing.
instead of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe X plus plus 9, right?
Yeah,
Let's not release any more of the same game. Let's give the community Diddy Kong Racing.
we didn't plan to get on this topic, but let's just real quickly because you would have. I just remember amongst like my friend group at least, like you would have dudes that were specialists. Like
Yeah.
you would have people that were just carryover people that were good at Mario Kart, that were decent at running cars and Diddy Kong. Like that was their mo. But then you had dudes where like this dude cannot fucking cross a finish line to save his life unless he's in a hovercraft.
Yeah.
And like he's the dude that you're choosing. You put him in a plane, trash. But then you had other dudes, four tires, nope,
Dude, that
not
was the
happening.
other thing was
But
the
a plane,
planes in Diddy Kong Racing.
yeah, dude.
Yes.
Dude, you had a plane, you had a hovercraft, and you had a car.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that everybody had to be in the same vehicle, which I understand why. But not when you were doing not
Bro,
when you were single player
yes.
in. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, because you had to
It was-
fly over the volcano to pick the eggs up, dude.
yeah, bro.
Yes.
And you would
Oh
have
my
to drive.
God.
You could drive them and drop bombs into shit and stuff, dude. It was
Yes.
it. I almost want to feel like it probably set the foundation for every other Mario Kart moving forward. And
I
Diddy gets
no
no
credit. No
no
cred.
credit. Also, it was Diddy, not even Donkey.
I
It wasn't
know.
Donkey Kong Racing. It was
I
Diddy
know.
Kong Racing.
I know. Did he took the racing category by storm back in 96, 95?
In fact, I'm gonna say a lot of people. Well, nah, man, we all knew who Diddy was, but like he couldn't get no respect unless you were trying to make a really long jump in the OG Donkey Kong country.
Yeah. He was
Um,
kind of forgotten.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, that's true. Sad for Diddy, but man, what a great game. So many
yeah,
memories.
we need to get back to that. I need to find a
That's
copy of
you know
that one.
what? In fact, I think I would like to take the stance that getting Diddy Kong Racing back is more important than when we set up Halloween decorations as well.
Which
It's
then again means it trumps when we're voting on and if we're voting
yes,
on daylight savings time.
yes, agreed. This is way more important. Let's get Diddy Kong Racing back, and then we can worry about daylight savings.
Priorities, man.
Yeah, for sure. Because doesn't matter what time of day it is or how dark or light it is outside. I would be playing Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
Diddy Kong Racing. Ah,
Um,
dude, I forgot about
before
that.
we get to the end here, I do want to just do a little bit of a summation of the past month and doing the sober
Yep.
September. Um, how did it feel? How do you feel after this month?
So I think for me, pretty much everything, and I don't want this to come off as shocking. I think it goes without saying we've all read things, but like I felt better. There's a couple. There are some downsides, I think, but I felt better on average. The entire month. Every morning was better. Every night. This was just a super, super, super stressful month for me.
Yeah.
Where I don't know if not having alcohol helped that or made that worse. I don't know, but super, super stressful month for me. But like, I felt good every morning. I felt good going to bed every night. Um, I was super sharp, super dialed in, very alert. I think everything mentally and at least the way I physically felt was better.
How?
However, I will say that not that I drank a bunch of non-alcoholic beer like we did for the pod, and then I think I did a couple of like random weekend days like I was cooking and something and I would drink some beers.
Yeah.
Always feel significantly heavier. Like I
Yeah.
feel as if I put on, which is not how you're
10
supposed to
pounds.
feel, I don't think. Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
I put on like 15, 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Whereas most people are like, oh, you stop drinking, you're going to shed weight. That's not the case with me, but
Well, it's
maybe
also
that's
not the
just an
case
anomaly.
because we were still consuming these and they're still, for the most part, high in carbs and whatnot.
Yes. Yes. So I would say I feel a lot better. And even going through an extremely stressful month, maybe that's what created the stress. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. But I don't like. I wish that there was a Michelob style um, non-alcoholic beer. I we talked about that very briefly in one of the podcasts. I don't remember or which one it was. Maybe it was fairly early on. I think it was like maybe Heineken or something like that. We talked about it. Like everybody's pushing towards the next, right? The
Yeah.
flight, the Michelob, all this. We need one of those for non-alcoholic beers. And I don't want somebody to make the argument, oh, fucking drink water. No, I want it to taste like a beer, but be super low carb and super low cal.
Which we did find one that was
Yes.
very, very similar to its um, alcoholic, co partner,
I'm gonna let you disclose it. But we did have a number of off pod uh other beers
non alcoholics.
that were non-alcoholics this month. We didn't include them on the show because that's ultimately like that's not what we started with. I was convinced at the outset that Heineken, which I mentioned when we did the episode, that Heineken was going to be the closest. They really promote the OO, and damn, is it close. But what we found out was
Corona, non
yes,
alcoholic, almost tastes exactly like a Corona. I'm talking, we might be fractions. If we did it on the pod, it might have almost gotten sixes across the board.
I would say
It
hands down.
maybe a
And
couple
here's the thing.
fives.
Here's the thing about it. I was not expecting that. First off, I didn't know it existed.
No, yeah, me either.
I had zero clue. Like I knew that a bunch of the other ones existed. We were kind of weirded out on the Guinness one. We know now why we probably didn't know that it existed, but I digress.
Yeah, yeah,
But I was not aware that the Corona one existed, and we picked it up on a whim. And in its straight up form, it was damn near like almost. I was almost unable to tell. Like
oh yeah,
the only reason I knew was because afterwards I didn't feel anything. Like I told
yeah,
you when we started drinking it, I'm like, I think they just fucking mislabeled this. Like, what if they just said, screw it, we're gonna put it out there as a non-alcoholic version, sell it, and just let people get lit up?
yeah,
Because that's how close it was. But one more argument that I'll make is, especially if you dress that sucker,
yes,
because with this and in both forms, I've had it without being dressed, and I had one that was dressed earlier today, and it with salt and lime, fucking impossible to tell the difference,
dude.
in my opinion.
Yeah, we're not kidding. Like it's it's very very similar. We would not lie about that. I like Corona personally. It's not like one of my favorites or anything, but I like it, especially dressed. I don't usually do salt just because it's difficult for me to do the salt thing, but just with a lime, it's a good beer. And boy, howdy, whew, the non-alcoholic is right there, man.
And what's funny is like I have Since you and I had it, I had a couple left over from that one. I bought another 6 pack because we've had some people over. My dad was over. We had some friends come over, and like there were people that hadn't had a Corona in a long time
Hmm.
that drank it and were like, "Holy shit, this tastes exactly like a Corona." And
Yeah.
then there were people that drink Corona on the reg, and
And
they
they
were
were
like,
like,
"Holy shit, this tastes exactly like a Corona." And I was like,
yeah,
"Oh, thank God! It's not just because I forgot what one tasted like." No, no, no.
yeah. No, no, no. It's there.
Yeah.
It's your
So
sober September beach sipper. That's for sure.
yes, and in
100%.
fact, I would say it automatically becomes my go-to forevermore. Like when I went, like I said, I went back and bought more because I wanted
Hmm.
some at the house for doing chores and stuff. And when I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna get some more non-alcoholic beers," the only one that came to my mind was Corona. And
Yeah.
here's the crazy part: is all of them were super stocked at both of our grocery stores here locally. The only one that was not was the Corona. So I don't know if
Yeah.
that's because low demand at this point, or I mean low supply at this point, or if it's
Or
just super high demand.
people are buying it out now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I agree with you. I mean, sober September, I felt better for the most part. I was also really stressed out through numerous different things. School starting back up for me, a lot of mental and emotional stuff, just a bunch of stress. But I think it made me a lot like very proud of myself for not going like, damn, I really need a beer right now or like need a shot or something. And I just stuck by it, man. And I feel better for it. I feel better physically for it. Obviously, it does still bloat you. Like you said,
Yeah.
you still feel like you gain a lot of weight and stuff, but uh, I felt better physically and I feel like stronger mentally that I was able to kind of, push through some stuff without needing beer and whatnot. So it
I
was a good
think it
month.
proved. I'm not gonna say that it proved definitively because I'm gonna You're not gonna be able to experience every single beer in a non-alcoholic version, but I think it solidified for me. I've said this over and over and over. Like this really solidified for me that yeah, obviously everyone likes the feeling of being buzzed and everybody likes the feeling, but I just crave so much the taste of something that's good that
Yeah.
immediately I'm not gonna lie, like it would. There were times where I would be like, I want a beer, like, but what I meant by that was I want a non-alcoholic Heineken, or I
Yeah.
want like you would want a Coke or something like that, and it would immediately pacify my want for that taste, and I never thought
Yeah.
about, oh, this is pointless or whatever, oh, I'm gonna be bloated or whatever, or there's no alcohol in it. Immediately, I was just like, oh, thank God that tastes delicious, and then
Yeah.
I'd move on about my day. So yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah.
Any other ones that you want to include very briefly as we come up on time?
What were the other ones that we had? I forgot all
So
of the ones that we
we
had off pod.
we had a Budweiser zero.
Yes, we did, but I don't Oh no, yeah, I do remember that one. It
Yeah, I
was
mean,
I mean, it was good. It wasn't, you know, it was not near as close to a Budweiser as, the Corona was to a Corona, that's for sure.
correct. We did the
Or
Texas
even the
Select.
Heineken. Yeah, the Texas Select was also decent.
Yeah, I mean it's like a Bush Light, but
Yeah.
not as flavorful. Um, and then I don't think you did any of the. I had 3 different IPAs. I
So
had the
I
Free and
tasted
Easy.
one. I tasted
You
one of
tasted the
the
Free and Easy,
Carbach.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
that was
honestly,
it was damn close to an IPA though. It really
it
was.
is. I think it only wins because an IPA is super flavorful, anyways, and it was very flavorful. But yeah,
Yeah.
so and then Athletic, when I was up in Baltimore, Athletic has a couple of different ones that I tasted as well. They were really
Okay.
good,
We
but
did
all
see an athletic.
IPAs.
We did see an athletic at the store, but we didn't get it.
Correct. I believe those are the ones here were IPAs. There's some IPAs up there too.
Yeah.
There was another craft IPA that we got in a grocery store there. Um, both of those were grocery store purchases, but
Yeah.
I cannot remember. It was a hazy IPA that was non-alcoholic, and it was pretty good.
Okay. Interesting.
So
Well, this month did open my eyes to the world of non-alcoholic beers, and I don't think I'll ever go back. I'll obviously go back to drinking beer, but
yeah,
like, I'll never forget, and I'll definitely grab some non-alcoholics. If I'm just feeling the beer flavor and not wanting to necessarily catch a buzz or anything. Maybe I'm, going somewhere specific or something. I don't know.
recreationally.
Recreation close. Um, all right. It is that time to get into the ratings here. I don't know. Did you pour this one this week?
I did not pour it, but I can assure you it looks identical to.
Yeah, I figured.
A, okay.
I figured as much. So I'll go with mine. Or do I always do mine first? Do you want to go first this
I
week?
don't know, but one thing I'll mention too is you see the bubbles on the inside of the bottle. That's a good indicator.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
This one's not by far my favorite, but I'll run through real quick.
Okay.
Entry I have a 2 because I do kind of know that like it's not a yellow belly. It's not a I can it's not a near I mean it's a near beer, right?
Yeah.
And then aftertaste I have a 3. I think does finish a little stronger. Body, I have it right at a 3. I think it's not super thick. It's just kind of right where it would be. Color, I think it's spot on. I have it at a 4. Um, Bitterness, I had it at 2. I think it's got a little bit too much of a sweetness for me to be able to tell, like for me to not be able to tell. Are we going to be completely different on this?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Not
And then
completely, but a little bit.
acidity, I have a 2 as well. I think it needs a little more to convince me that it's halfway closer to a beer. And then fizz, I have a 4. I'm actually gonna, yeah. All right, fizz, I have a 4. It could easily be a 5, but I'm gonna leave it where it stood. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 14, 18, 19, 20.
It's pretty good. That's pretty good still.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously, like I said in the beginning, I haven't had a yellow belly in a while. So I really couldn't compare it to its counterpart. This was more or less just my enjoying it, right? How I enjoyed it. Entry, I have a 3. I think it's pretty middle of the road. It's good entry. Like I said, it's very hydrating tasting, or not hydrating, but refreshing tasting. Aftertaste, I have it at a 3. I wanted to give it a 4 because it does have a better aftertaste, like you said, but I also don't think it's a 4 aftertaste. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Um, Body, I have a 3. I think, it's solid middle of the road. I do remember the Yellow Belly not tasting like this though, so it's definitely way below what a regular Yellow Belly is. Color, I have a 5. I'm assuming. I mean,
Yeah.
it tastes. I feel like it tastes like it looks. You know, I mean, you know what
It
I mean?
tastes like the right color.
Yeah, you
Mhm.
know what I mean. It tastes like the right thing. So bitterness, I have it a 4. I do agree though, it is pretty sweet. But again, I just enjoyed it. So
Mhm.
I don't remember what the bitterness level of like a yellow belly was. So I just thought it was good. So I get a 4. Acidity, I have a 3. And it's middle of the road, pretty good. And fizz, I have a 4 as well. Um, I also had pizza for dinner, so that could be affecting my burps,
Yeah.
but the burps were good. The burps were there pretty much the entire episode, and yeah, so that brings me to a total of 25. So I mean, not super far off, but
So the other thing that I struggle with, and just to round out this entire month, round out this entire experience, I'm sure we'll have the opportunity to throw some more on randomly later on, but is we set out originally we it's such a mind game. We set out originally to compare non-alcoholics to non-alcoholics because we consider them to be their own genre.
yeah,
And then very quickly we were like, no, no, no. We need to compare them against their counterpart.
yeah,
And what I now that and so that's the mentality that we took. And we did that even with all the ones we did off pod. But the struggle I have with this one, this late in the game, having a whole month of exposure to random non-alcoholic beers, is this. Not only do I compare this Coors to a Yellow Belly,
yeah,
okay, but now I compare it to other non-alcoholic beers,
yes,
and then even furthermore, I compare it to non-alcoholic beers that are very close to their counterpart, right?
yeah, yeah,
So in my mind, I'm drinking this now going, I mean, it's okay, but it's not as good as that Corona.
Yeah.
by a long shot. And does it even play in the same ballpark as Corona? Absolutely not.
No.
But in general, it doesn't. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's a real mind game,
So
like
it was
in
really
the rating system.
because I think we talked about it in the first episode, but I had never had a non-alcoholic before this month. So that's why I think we started off by saying let's compare it to the counterpart, that we're tasting, and just see how it compares in that form. But now that I've gotten through this whole month, I'm like, I do want to kind of go back and revisit them and compare them just to non-alcoholic beers. You
Yes,
know what I mean? So maybe next year if we do sober September again, or if we do another month some point in the year, we'll come back and we'll kind of do like a run through, maybe like a flight type thing or something, 1 month and go through a bunch of them and compare them. I think that could be cool.
I
I think
agree.
that'd
But
be fun.
in summary, I would say I would everyone's final homework for the month is to go out and find one that you enjoy, or at least give them a shot if you've stayed away from them, because it
Yeah,
does open your world up to. I mean, you can have them, which I guess you could do anyway, but
you
you
could
can have them for breakfast and not feel guilty. You
you
can
could
do them for
drive with them.
lunch. You can drive with them. I'm not quite sure the disclaimer on that, what the laws are.
Well,
They still
Heineken,
ID you to get them.
That's how Heineken markets theirs.
Yeah, but it's a true 0-0. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean,
But I
do
mean,
the Heineken, drink with the Heineken, or drive with the Heineken.
yeah, it's so trippy that I think the it's so trippy that like they still ID you to get them, which is weird. Uh,
Well, I guess because some of
yeah.
them do actually technically have a little bit of alcohol.
I mean, dude, you'd fucking die of water intake before you caught a buzz.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
but yeah, give them a shot. Go out. There's a lot of things you can do when you're drinking them. Nope, they're not the healthiest things in the world. But like, I would rather probably drink a Coors Edge. Like, it's not any worse than putting a Coke in your body. I
I would think not,
don't think. Yeah.
personally. Um, all right. Well, we've gotten to that point in the podcast where I'm going to tell you to go follow us on social media, on Twitter and TikTok at Off the Tap Pod, and on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Off the Tap Podcast.
Here's to sober September.